Hi guys, it's JongLi here, bringing you another online commentary battle for Rome Total War. This time it's a 1v1 31k battle, and I'm playing as a CPR Romans, and my opponent is HBG Imperator from the Honor Before Glory clan. And I've brought a pretty standard Roman build. It's 14 urbans, gold, 1 legionary first cohort, gold, and 5 Praetorian cav, gold. Imperator's brought also a pretty standard build. He's brought 14 urbans, gold, and 6 Praetorian cav, gold, and he's got 2 chevrons somewhere, possibly on his cavalry. So when we started, I realized that there was a clear distinction between the two halves of his forces, as you can see by this little gap. So his intention was to flank me like he did the first game. So I pretty much did the same thing as I did the first game in my live play. As he's moving out to this side and attempting to flank me with this force, I moved this 4 out to halt his advance, and I moved this peeler screen out as a peeler screen for this side. So this battle starts off in quite a similar fashion to the first one. Here he is peeling off 3 cavalry to this side, and he's leaving 3 cavalry here? Yeah. I'm not mirroring him this time, because from here my cavalry can reach here and over here, so there is no immediate need for me to mirror his movements. I'm doing this extended peeler shield thing to try and draw peeler from these 2 urban units, but he's not biting. And the peeler was started on this side. It's clear that he's going for the same strategy he used in the first battle, so I'm going to play similar to what I did in the first battle, and that's quite defensively with these peeler screens taking a lot of damage. They are in guard mode, so they're pretty hardy. As you can see, he's spread his men a bit, well, much thinner than mine. I like to keep my men quite thick, because in these thicker ranks, they can take cavalry charges a lot better, and it's better for my defensive playstyle. Thinning out your ranks is, it's good because you can get around your opponent's units, but it's not as good for defense because well, they're thin and cavalry strikes can penetrate through quite well. So still just some light skirmishing going on here, and he's going in for a cav charge on my Tetsudo unit. He pulls back because I've closed off these 2 units, and I'm ready to counter charge with my 2 urbans here. I'm not very active with my cav in trying to stop these charges because I know my infantry can take them, and also because my cavalry I have less cavalry than him. He's got 6 units, I've got 5. So I have to somehow use my urbans to whittle down as much cav as I can to get the cav balance back onto my side. So over here he's engaged one of my urbans with his urbans, and he's going to try and rout this unit with a cav strike. As you can see, my ranks are quite thick, so the cav strike doesn't penetrate too far, and I don't lose that many men either. And every time he does these little cav charges, he might lose 1 or 2 cav, which is to my advantage. And if I manage to turn Peeler on in time, then I possibly may be able to Peeler the cav unit, which would bring it in my favor quite heavily. But he's got this Tetsudo here, so I'm not sure about doing that. I bring this unit in to chase this back, but I don't push through because I don't want to get peeled by these units here. And as you can see from this position, I do have control over this side and this side because I can send cav either way, whereas he's split his cav up, so this cav will only go here and that cav will only go there. This is part of my more defensive kind of play. I put these 2 urban units in because it's getting a bit thin there. As you can see, the ranks are still quite thick and in good numbers. So cav strikes like these to the front aren't going to do anything. And I noticed in our last game that Imperator does these little cav strikes to the front quite a lot. So yeah, works to my advantage at this point. I've got my legionary first cohort here, and I do move it up to boost morale later for this side, and I've got my general over here to boost morale for this side in case they engage. So right now I have managed to rout one of his units. Because he's got more cav, he has to make use of this 1 extra cav unit. He's got to get the value out of it to make it worth bringing. As you can see, most of the action is over here. He hasn't really bothered to run this side in, possibly because it is extra micro, and because he's the attacker, he does have to do a bit more. This is good for me because I only have to think about this part, and I've just got to keep an eye on his cav. I charge these 2 units in to try and get a rout on some of his urbans. I was managed to get her out because his urbans are spread quite thin, and also it was quite depleted from fighting mine. So that was a good route for me. I don't lose too many cavalry. I lose a couple, but they're still in good shape. As you can see, my men are quite close together, so I can peel off these guys to back up if need be. At the moment I'm still just committing my original force over here, so it is in my favour. That was a pretty decent cav strike. I think if he went a bit further in, he might have been able to rout some of my units. Yep, this here I move my first cohort up, which inspires my men, makes them less likely to rout, and put some manpower there as well, put some presence there. I moved this force up a bit because I see that he's moved his cav over this way. So although my play is defensive, I have to push when it's necessary, and when I see that my enemy's side is weakened. Otherwise it's pretty stupid if you play defensively. You've just got to think of ways to counterattack. Over here my peeler shield's routed, but that's okay. I do have the infantry advantage here, I believe. His general's over here, which is a bit exposed, but It's okay. I still have only done one cav charge at this point, so my cavalry is in pretty good numbers. These cavalry units are still full. I peel off these two units, and I see his cav is here, so I feint an attack over here and turn them around this way. So he ends up ploughing straight into my fresh general's unit and doesn't get very far, and I'm able to catch his cavalry in a pincer and rout this unit of urbans. So I've won this side pretty decisively, I think. He does get the cav pull out, but doesn't change the fact that his urbans are heavily depleted now. I've still got cav here, so charging these in is very, very risky. He's not pushing with these units. I pull my cav out to this side so that I'm able to get some flank charges. Sorry about the lag, my computer's a bit old. Over here he's not pushing with his men. So, and my men are just this solid kind of block. So even if they did push, I would be able to rout with my cav. And here I see that he's committed most of his cav to this side to try and save his infantry. But... oh, shut up. So I charge my cav in here, and because his men are spread so thin, I'm able to get the rout. And then he rushes his cav back over to try and save this situation, but I've got cav over here as well, which he left behind in his haste to save this side, and I'm able to get a pretty good flank charge in. And these urbans here are still doing quite well, holding up. I've got urbans over here from this side's fight, and I'm able to pull my cav out the back because his lines were quite thin. And that mass routs his cavalry. Now I have a perfect charge into the back of his men, and I've got men remaining over here. And so he admits defeat because you can't win in that situation. That's a rowdy unit I forgot about. So it was a close victory. Good game to Imperator. It was really fun. So as you can see, my urban cohort's got most of the kills because they were taking a lot of damage from his cavalry, and I was really relying on them to stay in the game. I had to rely on my infantry superiority. Yeah. My legionary first cohort only got one casualty, so they were pretty fresh. Yeah, well played. My next video will probably be CWB. Yeah, see you next time, guys.